Hello, 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 and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Jameelah, and I am a master manifester, and I'm sure you are too, because you are consuming content like this. The name of this channel is Holistic Manifesting, because I believe in a whole body, whole mind, and whole being experience when it comes to manifesting these amazing lives that we are choosing to live. What I'm discussing in this video is having a powerful aura. And I was first introduced to the idea of an aura when I first started doing work in the area of metaphysics. I started going to one of those science of mind organizations when I was younger. My brother introduced me to one, and I remember visiting some of the classes, and we had a lot of discussions on the colors of people's auras and people that would read them and tell you about yourself, right? But I mean, as that conversation has evolved, I can honestly think about, besides the colors of a person's aura, there's this energy, there's this almost like cloud of this essence of who someone is that follows them around everywhere they go, and people sort of latch onto it to understand them and get to know them, even when they don't know that's what they're doing. So when I think about a powerful aura, and some people do have more powerful ones than others, and it just is what it is. It's like everything else in life. It's on a spectrum. I think about the fact that it is a gift and a curse in so many ways, right? So some of the reasons, I listed a few things, and some of them are petty and some of them are very thoughtful. But I wanted to share all of it because while we might find it petty and maybe not as thoughtful as some other reasons, it's still one of those things to where you can look and say, okay, someone sees me and they understand what I've experienced in that area. So when I think about a powerful aura being a gift and a curse, I think about really specific occurrences that I've endured in many times in my life. And the thing about an aura too, I think that it can be powerful at different points in your life. And then at some other points, it can be not so powerful when you're not living in your truth. But then I also believe that sometimes there are people, no matter whether they're living in their truth or not, they're powerful. Their aura is so powerful and strong, and their energy is so strong that it's affecting people even when they're in a negative space, and it's also affecting people when they're in a positive space, right? So something that I've noticed along the way when it comes to people who have powerful auras, and this is just not just me, because yes, I do feel like I have a powerful aura because there's so many things about me when I walk in spaces or I'm a part of environments or groups that I've observed over the years that I can be very clear about that is experienced by people who have a strong energy and a strong presence, right? Something that popped out first when I started making this list is about exes, about people that you used to be with, people that you used to be in relationship with. They usually dislike you in a strong way, even if your disconnect was amicable. Even if it was a disconnection to where you thought you were disconnecting from this person and it was a positive disconnection and you're like, okay, we're just not the same. We're not working out and it's perfectly okay. You find out later that they were harboring a lot of negative feelings towards you, and you'll see it in actions. And then maybe if they catch up with you again, they may have nothing but negative things to say. And I've experienced this, not with everybody, but with certain people in environments where I thought I was like, oh yeah, that was a pretty cool relationship, whatever. It ended, but it was a great experience and I can name all the positive things that happen in it. And then I find out that this person is saying nothing but nasty things. They send messages that are mean like way later, and you're just like, where did that even come from? And it's because they've experienced you on such a powerful level that it challenged many aspects about who they were. And instead of creating the completion with that and having the breakthrough and the expansion that your presence created in their environment, they instead saw it as something that challenged their ego and it made them feel small. And instead of growing through it, they kind of got stuck in that place. And another thing is, with exes, when it comes to that, they'll watch and check on you for a very long time. And a lot of people have said they've experienced this before, but sometimes your presence is hard for them to get out of their system. And so you'll be hearing from people from years later. I can honestly say, this is funny, but It won't go anywhere past this. Somebody I dated in high school, this person's found a way to catch up with me every so many years since high school. And it's been a long time since I've been in high school, right? But you'll find that you've affected people, and even when people have been affected positively by you, they'll continue to watch and like keep up with you on some level and pay attention to you. And if you have different social medias, you'll see that they'll say so-and-so viewed your profile, and you're like, I haven't seen that person in like 15 years or so. And you'll find that they still want to see what you're doing, where you're going, what you're working on, and all this kind of stuff. And there's nothing wrong with that or bad about it, but that's something a person with a powerful aura generally does. People are always curious about what they've done with their lives, even if they don't want to interact with them, or like where they are and what they're doing, and whether or not maybe they have an opening to have a conversation with them or something like that. People want to be close, but once they see that you are exactly who you are and you operate exactly as you present, they may dislike you over time. So a lot of times when you have that powerful presence, you pull people in. But what happens is over time, once they see that you are a person of your word, that you are exactly what you put out there, that you don't do shenanigans, and that when you go places, people do, flock towards you for different reasons. They always compliment you. They treat you well and all these wonderful things. Once they're right up in the presence of that or in the space of it, you may find that some people may not be able to handle it. So that happens often. People think they want to be in your space. They think they want to be connected to you. They think they want to be in a relationship with you. But once they're actually in that space and you are all the things that you are striving to be, that you believe in yourself, that you love yourself, you like yourself, you think that you're great in a lot of different ways, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's a beautiful thing. That sometimes that challenges their presence in a way that they didn't expect. So sometimes you can find yourself drawing people in and then they just drop out of your life. They like just ghost out of your space. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just something that you'll see a pattern of throughout your life. And I've seen this so many times. And a long time ago, part of me used to think that meant that, they just didn't like me. Something was wrong with me. But that wasn't the case. People will come back later and tell me the exact thing that I'm telling you right now. So I'm letting you know this. It's just like at the time, being around you made me feel this way, or being in your presence made me feel like this. And you'll realize that it never had anything to do with you as a person and how you operated, but they just didn't have the capacity to experience you in the fullest way possible. That it was sometimes it's just too much, right? Another thing that I've noticed when people have a powerful aura and like big energy, and I've seen this with celebrities and stuff too, rarely do people receive, when you're like this, do you receive empathy or sympathy? And often people want to see you fail or fall. And this is not to be like, in a negative or petty way, like, how dare they want to see me fall? It just is what it is. I've experienced this in life too. So many experiences to where I was so authentic and so clear and so like showing up as the truest version of myself. And I was like pummeled in so many environments. I can even think of early on being a manager in fast food when I was like 17 years old, and like how the manager used to challenge me in all these odd ways. And I used to be like, what is this lady's problem with me? And one day she walked around and she was like challenging like people like who had the better hair. I used to wear my hair just, long, straight, and it was in a relaxer, I'm sure, because I was like 17, 18 years old. That was right before I cut all of it off. And everybody was just like, I had beautiful hair. Don't get me wrong. I had really beautiful hair. And they were like, oh, her. And I'm like, how did I get put into a competition that I didn't even create? And then I'm losing a competition that I didn't even want to be a part of. And I find with stuff like that, it's like everybody couldn't wait to have a reason to say something negative about me. And it was like that even when I think early on we're going through divorce and going to court and all that. Even the judge was very negative towards me. And I'd never seen a woman get treated the way I was treated. I didn't get any of the stuff that people talk about. It's like, oh, a woman gets treated. None of that. I couldn't even stay in my own home for like a year and something until the case was done. So it's like, I remember I had to fight for custody for my kids with no negative background and all this kind of stuff. I was wanting joint custody. The other person was wanting full custody, but it was with no grounds. And so like all of these things were happening, and like even the ex-mother-in-law was waiting for pushing my downfall, and I had been nothing but good and positive towards these people. So you'll find that these kind of things happen a lot, right? To where you think that people are on your side, but it's like the minute there's a crack and something going on with you, they can't wait to attack you. They can't wait for your downfall. They can't wait to see you lose. I've seen this even with family members. You know, they can't wait till you have a sad story to tell. If you're in a good relationship or something that's going positive, they're waiting for the moment to where it's not what it is, and they're waiting to hear negative news or information, right? So you'll find that whenever you have big energy and aura, it's like there's always this pull by people to want to pull you back down or to try to ground you in some kind of way. But it's not always a positive thing. Sometimes it's just that I think they want to see that you're more like the way they feel. They want to see you in an existence of the way that they actually feel, right? And so sometimes if you stay steadfast in who you are and you show up as you are, they don't have the opportunity to bring you to this space. And if I go back to this thing, because, you know, it doesn't bother me anymore. When I think about in court, that judge that was just particularly attacking me in a certain kind of way, like I couldn't believe I was being treated the way I was. I was like, I've been nothing but a good mom and all this kind of stuff. When I actually had the right lawyer, he had to humble himself so badly with this lawyer because the lawyer couldn't understand why certain things had gone far. And these men were at each other, and all I had to do was just sit there and receive what the universe was going to bring to me no matter what. And it was my completion. It was my expansion, and it was my victory in that way. So sometimes when you have a big aura, you have to sit back. You have big energy because people can't handle it and they just want to smother it. They no empathy, no sympathy. They just want you out of their space because you bother them in that way. Another thing is people want to be connected to you without actually acknowledging anything positive about you. And I've had this happen in relationships where people want to be in my energy, want to be around. They want to call me their girlfriend, their romantic partner and all these sort of things. But at the same time, they don't want to celebrate anything positive about me. So it's like if I'm out and about and somebody says, "Oh, lady, you look beautiful today," or whatever, they'll find a way to smash down that compliment, act like it didn't exist, or just ignore it altogether. They would rarely compliment anything I was wearing, anything I was doing. I was with someone and I know I'm a really good cook. Like I can cook really good. And I say that because I've been around and I've learned over the years so many different little techniques to cooking things and doing things. And so when I was around this person, they were eating a lot of vegan food. And so my challenge was to transfer what I knew how to do into vegan food. And I got really, really good at it. And I'm still good at it, right? I still make some of the dishes and stuff. And I noticed they would never tell me that I was a good cook in any kind of way whatsoever. It's like they avoided that ability to say something positive. But what they would say every now and then when something was being cooked or whatever, "Oh, this right here, what is this seasoning that's in here? This is really good." It would be anything to take it away from me actually receiving any praise related to it. So a lot of times you'll find that people want to be connected to you, but they don't want to acknowledge anything positive about what you have going on. They want to stand in your light, but they don't want to acknowledge, "Oh, you are a great writer," or "You are an excellent instructor," or "You are a great mom," or anything that they can latch on to and say positive about you. They want to experience it and be a part of your world, but they don't want to acknowledge the beauty that you're actually bringing into their world and in their life and in their space, just existing, just sharing your aura, just sharing your energy with them, right? Another thing is you get stared at a lot when you go out in public places for no good reason. And that happens all the time. And sometimes people don't even know what they're staring at. Walking through the park, walking through grocery stores, you get everybody's attention, from young, old, small children, even animals, all that kind of stuff. It's a constant thing. And And you might be trying to figure out, did something shift in my life? A lot of times it's like when we're on the path, when we're becoming a master manifester, and when we're creating the life that we choose, when we're on that path, we'll find ourselves being able to draw in people and places and things and all this stuff without even trying. Another thing is people act weird and try to avoid eye contact sometimes when you're in places. So you'll go up to registers, you'll get help at places and do things. And if someone is not quite able to absorb that energy that you're bringing, like when you're giving direct eye contact, you're smiling and saying good morning and how are you and all those beautiful and wonderful things, they'll get weird. They'll start fumbling things and they'll start looking down and around and trying to ignore you and trying to, not make eye contact with you because something is making them very uncomfortable, but they haven't really latched on to it yet. And sometimes people allow themselves to just get absorbed into your presence, and then sometimes they want to do everything to avoid it. And that's when you'll get like weird interactions. And I'll even tell my daughter, I'm just like, wasn't that weird? Like, what was that, ladies? She's like, I don't know, but it was weird. Yeah. And you'll experience those things a lot more. And another thing is you shift energy. And I think this is the last thing on my list. Yes. You shift energy with ease when you walk into spaces and you're a part of rooms. My daughter was telling me the other day, she was just like, I don't think my energy is as strong as yours. And I'm like, it doesn't really need to be. But ever since I was a little kid, a little girl, it's like if I got angry or bothered, it would completely shift the whole environment. I used to want people to keep on doing what they were doing and enjoying things the way they were enjoying it. But my energy used to impact the environment so heavily that it shifted the way everybody felt, and it would like ruin days and it would like ruin moments. And I just wanted so bad to be like, I'm like, well, when my sister gets angry and mad, she yells and all that. Nobody even looks, like they don't even flinch. But if I just look like, and I go, I am not playing, like I'm just in one of those modes, right? And I do that moment, it's like everybody like, and I would do the same. My nieces and nephews, when I would babysit them when they were little and stuff, now they're, the oldest ones are in their 30s, but this was a while ago. And I would babysit them. It's like I had the power to make everybody shut everything down. That's just who I was. And I was only like 19, 20 years old and stuff. And I noticed this about me. When I was in school, I would notice that with teachers, if I talked back or said something, it was very different than when other people did. They would tell them, oh, shut up and sit down. But when I did it was just like, it was like mano y mano. They wanted to battle. They wanted to fight. They were like, get out of here, go in the office. It would turn into something completely different because my for whatever reason, my energy would shift. And you might see yourself experiencing that if you're a person that's, I'll say, challenged with a strong aura. It'll shift things. It'll change environments, even when you don't want that to happen. But equally positive things, when you're feeling good or free or happy or whatever like that, when you go in places, you can completely get, if a staff members or whatever, when you go into an environment are being negative or they like have a certain attitude, when you show up, it's like, good morning, how are you? It's like your energy is enough to shift their perspective and to get them into more of a positive place. And that's also a beautiful thing too. And being an instructor, being a college professor, this kind of thing was extremely important because when I was in a bad mood, I had a certain attitude, the students would be scared of me. And I'm the kind of person that would make people scared, and I hated it so much. But now I know how to use it for positive, right? I would make people scared. And it was the same thing, things that would happen in life and all. Even I'm talking about those court cases and when I was, early on with divorce and stuff, I scared a lot of people that was on the other side of the family because they didn't know why I felt so powerful. Like when I was angry, they didn't feel like they knew what I was going to do next. And I'm like, well, so-and-so can get angry and nobody even looks, but they just didn't have the same energy in that way. So now it's like, if I'm pulling out anger, it's got to be very important of a situation because I understand how powerful it is and how much it scares other people. And even with my daughters, I don't even get angry at them. Like even in the past, when I was going through times where I was angrier and I was like raising them, and I had these moments to where anger was my number one emotion sitting there right beneath the surface. I saw how they looked at me and the fear that would be in their eyes when I would fuss at them about something. But it's like now I can fuss at them because my anger is not there. And sometimes I'm like, y'all not affected enough. Do I need to show you what I am made of? And they go, no, no, because they know that it's like there's a mode she can get into where it's gonna completely, make them feel like, oof, let's get out of here. It fills the room, and it can be a gift and a curse at the same time. And you just gotta know when to pull things out and when to stuff them away. When you're able to manage who you are instead of trying to get rid of who you are, you become a much stronger and more powerful person existing in the world. Anyway, a strong aura, a powerful aura, it's a gift and a curse. And these are the reasons why I've seen these outcomes. Anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day.